Hello, sports fans. Yes, I say sports fans because for this video, I am pulling double duty. This is a double review, and I will start, of course, with the World Series. And first off, a great big Hail Washington to all the Nationals fans. Congratulations to the Washington Nationals on finally winning the World Series for the first time in franchise history. I mean, what a World Series it was. The home team didn't win a single game in that series. It was amazing. And it was because you know me, I I felt for the Nationals for a while because remember they started out as the Montreal Expos in 1969, and they were Canada's first baseball team. The Blue Jays followed 8 years later, and they only had the one postseason in '81 that didn't get them anywhere. They were off to what was going to be a great season '94, except the strike happened. And then they never got close to that, and then the attendance started to drop. Okay? And they ended up moving to D.C., and when they finally did start making the postseason, they couldn't get past the division series. And entering this year, they were one of two teams who had never won a pennant. The Seattle Mariners are still the other one. And but this year they finally did it. Bryce Harper, best hitter in baseball, left them, went to Philly. Yet Washington did it. They advanced to the playoffs for the first time. They won a series for the first time ever. They won a pennant for the first time ever. And to cap it off, they won the World Series over the Houston Astros. Oh my goodness, it's a success story. It was a hell of a success story. I'm so happy for that team. This ranks up there with the Cubs winning because like I said, Washington had never been to a World Series, let alone won one. And but it's a great success, and it continues this recent string in DC, which started with the 2 hockey seasons ago when the Capitals won, and the WNBA, the Washington Mystics won. That was also their first ever. And now the Nationals have joined the party. And and of course Twitter was flooded with tweets saying the Expos won the World Series. And yes, I was one of them that tweeted that. I couldn't help it. Okay, I have a soft spot for certain things Canada. I mean, I mean, think about it. This was just a couple of months after the Toronto Raptors made history. The NBA championship was won by Canada. The Raptors won the NBA championship. Now a former Canadian team just won the World Series. Now the Montreal Expos, really, you think about it, are the biggest French-Canadian success story since Patrick Roy. And yes, the wrestling fan in me wants to say Maurice, but talk to me when she wins 4 Stanley Cups and 3 Conn Smites, okay? but anyway, it was a terrific end to a crazy baseball season. But as I just said, baseball is over, and now it's on to the football portion of this video. Week 8 was crazy as hell. Let's start, of course, with the Packers. Big win in Kansas City. No, Mahomes didn't play. But no, it was not the blowout everybody expected, okay? It was a nail-biter. It was a shootout, as I knew it would be. And in the end, of course, Aaron Rodgers, the GOAT, did GOAT things. And his buddy, Aaron Jones, he was all over the place again. That guy's a dynamo, I swear. And because of this, the Packers are now 7-1. We are still up in that NFC upper echelon with the 49ers and the Saints. The Niners are still unbeaten at 7-0 because they exposed Kyle Allen at home and woke up a bunch of idiots who said they should start him for good and actually get rid of Cam Newton. Okay, people are so dumb to say that. My goodness. But yeah, so and the Saints won with Drew Brees back in action for the first time since he got injured in the game against the LA Rams, of course. So yeah, so that's the group, and this brings me to something I keep harping about on Twitter, but nobody in the media seems to mention it. Look at the AFC and look at the NFC. It's a big difference. Look at the NFC. The NFC is a logjam. Okay, Green Bay is 7-1, yet we're 3rd in the conference. Why? Because there are two other teams that have 7 wins. One of them doesn't have any losses at the moment. And the Saints, I think, have a better conference record. That's why we're third, despite the fact we've won 7 out of our first 8. Okay, Seattle is 6-2. Minnesota is 6-2, but they're not in first place because Seattle is behind. Because Seattle has to deal with the Niners and an up-and-coming Rams team. The Rams got a big win, so they're 5. Well, it's not. They beat the Bengals, but it's still a big win because they needed to kind of wake up a bit. Seattle has to deal with San Francisco and the Rams, and let's face it, they won't survive either one of them. And Minnesota, even with their 6-2 start, they're a game behind us. And as far as head-to-head, they're behind in that too. So that's the NFC. The NFC, now the wrestling fan in me has to make this comparison. The NFC is basically like what Raw was in the early stages of the Ruthless Aggression era. Nothing but championship contenders. You remember what Raw was like back then. Guys like Chris Jericho and Randy Orton, Kane, Batista, and Edge, and of course Triple H. A log jam of championship contenders. That's what the NFC is now. The AFC, oh my God. The AFC is crap. I've been saying this for years, but nobody of substance in the football media will ever say it. The AFC is crap. New England is 8-0, but there's a bunch of 5-win, 4-win teams behind them. And I mean way behind them. New England has gotten by due to having a schedule that's easier than the University of Alabama. Okay? The AFC is basically New England and everybody else. It's basically like what Raw is now. Okay? Raw now is basically Seth Rollins and everybody else. If this was the women's division, it would be Alexa Bliss and everybody else. A lot of fans would expect me to say Charlotte. Charlotte is not New England. She's Pittsburgh, okay? But the AFC is a hot mess, okay? And when I say everybody else, I do mean Kansas City, unfortunately, because that win on Sunday night against on Sunday night against the Packers, that was their 3rd straight home win. Home. That's the emphasis here. Home. And they're at home again this Sunday, but it's against the Vikings. They should break that jinx because the Vikings, they're a joke. But if, God forbid, Kansas City loses again at home, that would be 4 straight home losses. 4 home games is half of an NFL team's home schedule because you play 8 at home, 8 on the road, and half of your home schedule ends in defeat. If they lose this game at home, I think they're screwed. And the sad part about that is they were in a little bit of trouble even before Mahomes got injured because they had those 2 home losses to Indy and Houston, 2 teams who have quite a few question marks. They had those home losses against Indy and Houston before Mahomes got injured. I mean, they got to win against a soft Broncos team to make them feel better, but they had to go home and play against an actual heavyweight contender in the Green Bay Packers, and they couldn't pull it off. So, and if they lose at home, like I said, if they lose at home again on Sunday, I hate to say this, but they may as well just hand the AFC to New England right now. Because if Kansas City's not going to be good enough to overtake the Patriots, who the hell is? Baltimore? No. All they have is a quarterback and a kicker. The Colts? No. They're adjusting to life without luck, but it's the adjustment. Houston? God, no. Especially with J.J. Watt out for the season. I feel for that man. That sucks. I think he's just played. Jacksonville? Depends on how they are when Nick Foles returns. The Raiders? No. And the Chargers? Hell no. They are a joke. The Steelers? No. But they are waking up. I mean, week 8 ended with the Steelers coming back from a 14-point deficit against the lowly Dolphins. Yes, the Dolphins had up 14-0, but as they remembered, they're not trying to win. They're trying to get that number one. They're trying to get that number one draft pick because much like Justin Bieber, this year's Miami Dolphins actually came to terms that they are abject failures, that they're useless, that they're not going to amount to shit. So just lose and tank. That's what they're doing, and it's a pretty good job. That they're 0-7. The Bengals are 0-8, so it's between those two. They actually play each other in December. So that could be that could be a big tank ball. that may be the most watched game between two dead teams in NFL history. But it's oh my goodness. But it's just crazy. But anyway, week 9 starts in a few hours. The Niners are playing, but they're playing against Arizona. I don't know if I trust Arizona to beat the Niners. I need the Niners knocked down a peg or two before we get to Santa Clara on November 24th. That would be nice, but I don't think it's going to happen. They play Arizona, Seattle, and then Arizona again. They have 3 divisional games, but none of them are against the Rams. No, they're not losing. No. And, of course, the Packers are in L.A. Well, Carson, but it's L.A. Play against the Chargers, a Chargers team that is almost dead. I mean, the win against the Bears kept them on life support, but the plug's going to be pulled eventually. I think the plug is pretty much pulled in Chicago. Not just in their playoff hopes, but maybe with Matt Nagy. They might fire him after this. But the Bears go to Philly. Now, that team's not dead, but they're in a bad division. That team's not dead, but only because they're in a bad division. They're like just a hair out behind Dallas. Speaking of Dallas, they end week 9, Cowboys and Giants. That is always fun to watch. Doesn't matter where the teams are in the standings. That's always fun when the Cowboys and Giants get together. Partially because I'm a fan of that movie, Little Giants. That's what the game was. Little Cowboys, Little Giants. That was a great movie. You should watch it. You really should watch it. It's I definitely recommend it to anyone. Watch this video. But if you haven't seen it already. But anyway, that's my double review of the World Series and Week 8 this NFL season. Congratulations again to the Washington Nationals. And I feel sorry for the city of D.C. that has to wake up and realize they have a football team too. So again, week 9 starts in a few hours. So with that, I say enjoy the second half of the season. Happy Halloween to all of you. And I will be back to review week 9 next week, and I'll have a preview of the Grey Cup playoffs because this week is the last week of the CFL season. So until then.